Okay, this video is going to be covering Area 3 of the Camp Grayling Expansion proposal. Camp Grayling is proposing that they be permitted to lease an additional 162,000 acres of public state land. This is 250 square miles, and this would increase their footprint to 480 square miles, even though they are already the largest National Guard base in the country. They have divided this proposal into 6 areas. Each one has different boundaries and different proposed uses. I got all of this information from the DNR's interactive web map. I will put a link to that map in the description of this video. To get all of the information you need or see areas clearly, you do have to use the legend on the right hand side up at the top, and there's an option for different map views. So you have to turn off different layers, change the map views. That is how you will see names of rivers and creeks, streets. With some of them you can see what an aerial view looks like in some areas. Also in the top right corner of this map, there are 2 eyes. The second eye is where they have descriptions of their proposed uses for these 6 areas. And that is where I gathered most of this information from, was the DNR map. Okay, Area 3 is approximately 11 square miles, 11,000 acres. The eastern boundary of this area is in Otsego County, around, it looks like it goes to Viking Club Road. The western boundary is in Otsego County. It looks like it's about 1/4 mile west of Westwood Road. The northern boundary is in Otsego County. It is approximately 1¼ miles south of Bass Lake Trail. This section includes land both north and south of Old State Road and east and west of Turtle Lake Road. The southern boundary in Otsego County is Lovell's Road. The waterways that I noted on this area of the map are Chub Creek, Crapo Creek, the north branch of the Asaba River, Turtle Creek. The area does come within about 1 mile of Turtle Lake, and it is within 1/2 mile of Viking Lake, Lower Chub Lake, Big Bass Lake, and Clear Lake. Now, not every waterway is labeled, so I may have missed something. If you live in this area or recreate in this area, I'm sure you know more than what's on a map, what would be impacted if this land were leased to the military for training. Also on this area of the map, it looked like there were some ORV and snowmobile trails, maybe some bike and hiking trails. Now, the description the DNR has given for this area says, this area is already within the current restricted airspace, allows for more flexibility with missions and scheduling, facilitates firefighter aircraft training at nearby proposed austere runway. Assault strip / austere runway is near for expeditionary airfield operations, and unmanned aerial systems within restricted airspace. Now, I've seen this reference to a proposed austere runway on several of the area descriptions. Now, none of the proposed areas have a description to add a runway, so my assumption is that they're proposing they add a runway on their existing lands, and these areas would be in close proximity to that. Now, in looking at the DNR interactive map, the area that looks like it would be most likely to sustain an austere runway is just north of the 40 range complex. There is an area that is outside the impact zone that looks like they could put a runway in. And an austere runway, I'm not a military person, but I did a little bit of brief research on Google, and it looks like it is a little more of a rustic type on runway. They are usually around 4,000 feet. Can be a little shorter, can be a little longer, and they have many purposes. So it could be used for certain fighter jets that can land and take off on short runways. There are a few. I was curious if this could only be used for drones or helicopters, and no, it looks like fighter jets could be landed there. So if they add this runway, anyone in the area will definitely see an increase in air traffic. The description on here of unmanned aerial systems means drones, increased use of drones, and a nearby resident to this area said the drones are annoying and loud. He said they sound like a giant mosquito, and he hears them all the time. So if you live within the vicinity around Area 3 or like to come up there for recreation, I would start asking questions and look at this map in detail to see how close it is. People have been very surprised to learn where this expands to. It's Camp Grayling, but this proposal would impact much more than just Grayling. So please share if you would like to get involved or see what you can do to try to help spread the word. You can join the Camp Grayling Expansion Facebook group. Go to the 230 is Enough webpage. That's a pretty good resource. It has a lot of articles and information and links compiled. Or in addition, I should say, you can sign a petition at change.org. The biggest thing I would say is share this information, that this is being proposed. 162,000 acres of public state land is a lot, and I have not met anyone yet outside of limited military personnel that thinks it is actually needed. So share for awareness and tell everybody you can.